session of cloud computing, day 1. We will be doing 2-day session of cloud computing. First of all, let me tell you about this session. Then we will proceed to the terms and everything details with cloud computing. Basically, the word cloud and the word computing are combined because of a new technology. Cloud computing is nothing but a new technology to ease our work, to ease our day-to-day work, and make the work of a common man, of a corporate, of a business to carry out easily and cost efficient. So the word cloud computing is made of two words, cloud and computing. So cloud computing, many have a misconception that the server, the data will be saved up in the cloud. It is not that. Okay. They are stored in the same server where the data stored previously, and big companies, big corporations, big industries stores their data in the server. The concept, the technique, the format of saving the data, whatever it is, within the form of text, images, audio, video, and any other kind, the format, the system to save the data and to access the data is very much different and is very much, you can say, unique and fast. That's why it is called cloud computing. The word cloud has been derived because the data doesn't stay. Your data or any other person or any other company or any other corporation, data doesn't stay always in the same server. They keep on moving according to the accession level, according to the location of the desired user. That's why it is called cloud. And computing means what? To access that particular data from wherever and anytime the user requires. That's why it is called cloud computing. As you can see, cloud up in the sky moves around the world or the region continuously, and just keeping that process, this particular technology works. Cloud in a cloud computing system, the data do store on a particular the server, but they doesn't stay statically only on that server. It stays dynamically on that server and circulate and moves to different servers of that particular service providers, and person, organization can access the data according to their location, according to their time. So these features, these properties are being copied from the physical cloud, the cloud up in the sky. That's why it is called cloud. So I will be telling you many more things. Just I gave you a small example why it is called cloud computing. But there are many technical terms. How cloud computing works, how data is being saved, retrieved from cloud computing, how beneficial it is, what are the advantages of it, what are the disadvantages of it, what are the different kinds of data storage in a cloud, what are the different properties of storing a data on a cloud server, and there are many things. What are the features, the services they provide, the cloud computing provide. You see, cloud computing is not belongs to a single person. Many organizations, many service providers, like big companies like Microsoft, Google, they do provide cloud computing services. So it depends upon the user by whom one gets and acquire those services. What are those services? I will give you some examples of services. What are the kinds of services they provide? Why they provide those kind of services? It's definitely the core feature is to earn money. The second most feature is to make our day-to-day work easy and connect every person to every person. The accession of data should be easy and quick. Quick would be one more feature. So these are the things why service provider provides cloud computing, and we use those services and pay a little amount of money. What are the different kinds of features which service providers provides in cloud servers? And there are many things. So we're going to discuss in detail about cloud computing in these 2 sessions. So as I was saying, is that we will be discussing about the cloud computing in these 2 sessions. We will be discussing about many aspects of clouds. Basically, cloud computing is nothing but to storing the data on a physical server and acquiring some features of cloud. It is called cloud computing. The technique is called the cloud computing to store the data. So we will be discussing about the storage of data, the properties of clouds, how it is being saved, why it is called cloud computing. After explaining everything, you're going to get the clear picture. So I will be starting with my notes. So here you can see what I have done. First of all, why some people use cloud? Why some people use cloud? What is a cloud computing? What are cloud servers? Basically, is that whenever you use Gmail, okay, you are using a service. You are using the service of whom? Of Google. If you are using, suppose, Facebook, okay, so who is going to be the service provider over here? Facebook company. If you are using Azure, or you can say Evernote, or there are many features of Microsoft also. So here, who will be the service provider? Obviously Microsoft. How we going to use this service provider? We going to need internet. If you open our Gmail account through our internet is a medium by which we can access the server of Google. So we can say that we are acquiring the service from Google, though the Google Cloud is the cloud provider, is the service provider to us. Though their servers have some features of cloud, that's why they are calling their servers cloud servers. So when we acquire those kind of services through internet, we can say we are using the cloud services. If we use Bing is a search engine for Microsoft. If we use Bing, then we can say that we are using the service of Microsoft. But how we will use those kind of service? Through internet, obviously. Nothing is possible without internet. Through internet, we can use different service providers. We can use different service providers, organization, cloud servers according to our need. It's called the cloud computing. So the point is that using some other services, using someone else server to store data, to retrieve data, or to host something, to put something inside the data through internet by our medium. It could be tab, it could be laptop, it could be mobile, it could be a desktop also. It's called cloud computing. So cloud computing is the very much feature, the most important feature to introduce the cloud in our today's technology is to expand and to distribute the service across the world, entire world, so that every person can take the benefit of internet and big companies server, big companies data also. So there are many more features. What we're going to learn in this session, the feature is SaaS, 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 software added services, PaaS, platform added services, and IaaS, infrastructure added services. What happens is that when we require something in today's world, there is, you can say, a jet age due to the internet and everything is on net. We require some features, we require some work in our day-to-day life, in our organization also, in our business also. So what we do, we want everything on the same seat, on the same chair. So what these service providers do, they do provide a cloud system, a cloud server to upload, so that we can upload our data. The data could be in the form of images, pages, videos, and a number of things. As well as they are providing us the services also, including softwares, platforms, and infrastructure also. Means if you want to do something quick, we can just rent that service and we can use it directly on internet and we can carry out our work. We don't have to purchase that service permanently. This is one more benefit of cloud computing. Okay. So we will be moving to the next. Now here it is the evolution of cloud computing. We're going to discuss about the evolution of cloud computing. The cloud computing basically started in the year 2001. The concept first started in 2001, but the thought process and to the thinking that it has to be made, those system has to be made, this thought has been arrived on 1990s. What happened before that? We used to have grid computers, okay, solving large problems with parallel computing, made mainstream by Global Alliance. Global Alliance is an organization which used to grid computing. Basically, you all have heard that there are in before Word. What was there? We have SUI, the single user interface. After Windows introduced introduction of the window, it becomes GUI, graphic user interface. So when we are using something, when we are using a single computer, we are storing data. As the day passes, the user, the customers, the industries requires data transfer from one computer to another computer. But it could be possible only from one computer to another computer through a wire. And up to a certain limit of data and up to a certain limit of, we can say, surrounding. So those kind of computing is called grid computing. When we move on to utility computing, offer computing resources as a metered service introduced in late 1990s. So when people think, when the developer, the creator of computer and internet and the big industries thought that it could be taken us one step further, and thing is that why every person need to have that particular kind of softwares, why a single person need to have that kind of system should be removed. The idea should be removed. What the big industries thought that they could acquire the same service and they could rent that service to every individual, whether it's a person or an organization or industry. They can rent that service. The main motive, the main feature was to reduce the individual load of purchasing the applications, purchasing the software, purchasing the required hardware, and the basic reason of behind it is the money, the local currency. They wanted to earn the money. They wanted to build something that every single person, every individual can utilize, can use in day-to-day their life. So what big companies thought that they could create the same system, they can use the same softwares, they can use the same applications, and they can rent it to other people, the individuals, and they can charge according to the need. So the idea of this kind of computing has been introduced in 1990s. Now in 2001, they added SaaS, software as a service, network-based subscription to applications. What happened in this is that they started renting the services also. They started renting the server space also, as well as they started renting the applications also. Means if somebody needs or requires any service, if somebody needs or requires any application or software, they don't have to purchase the entire license of it. They can just rent it through internet. They can just use it and carry out their work, and everything will be done. So this kind of system has been introduced in 2001. The thought has been arised in 1990s, but first of all, it was introduced in 2001 by Amazon Web Services, the name of Amazon Web Services. Now, today we can see a pure form of cloud computing, next generation internet computing, next generation data center. What we have a huge amount of every service provider, whether you can take Microsoft, Google, Apple, or any other service provider. They all are service providers. They use different kind of what they use, what kind of database they use, what kind of services they use. That's a very different thing. But they all do the same thing. They want every single person not to purchase any extra service, not to purchase any extra applications to carry out their work. They have everything on their server. They have the softwares, they have the space, they have the framework, they have the interface, they have the environment. Only the end user, like you and I, have to subscribe those services for a certain period of time, use those services, carry out our work, and just go on like that. So what will happen? We don't have to, the burden on a single person to purchase the application to make our work easy has been vanished. So this is the evolution of the computer. Now, evolution of the cloud services. In 60s, we have supercomputers, mainstream computers. In 90s, the first mainstream cloud computing was introduced. In 2002, launched by Amazon Web Services, as I told. In 2006, S3 launches and EC2 technologies are being introduced. In 2008 and 2009, Google App and Azure introduced themselves as a cloud with the cloud servers to serve every single person. And in 2010, the one server field managed software moved top to the cloud. In 2010, what happens? They all came purely upon a platform of cloud services. That's all. It's just a timeline to show you. Now, the cloud computing can be divided into two definitions. Okay, customer oriented definitions and business oriented definitions. So a single user can use a service as a single person. Means if I am a single person, I will use certain amount of services made for a single person. If industry or a big business or a big corporate world want to use the cloud computing, they have to take the services according to the requirement. So just keeping these two apart, I have created few differences. And when a customer-oriented definition means we can use it anytime, anywhere, with any device, access in any service, accessing any service. And business-oriented definition, we can say it's a universal access, scalable business point of view. In we go for business point of view, it should be universal access, scalable services, new application services model, SaaS, and a term called pay as you go. So what happens if I am a single person or you are a single person? You will define the services according to your need. But the service provider, the cloud company's provider, they will see their, you can say, their purpose in different way. So as an end user, if I say I want to use cloud, what are the features I will be looking for? I will be looking for, it could be very easy and I can use it anytime. One more feature, if an individual, if I say I have to use it anywhere I want through internet, everything is done on internet. If I have to use any service, I have to use on any device, whether it's a mobile or a laptop or a desktop, or accessing any service. Means any service which I want, whether it's SAS, SaaS, PaaS, or IaaS. The definition of SaaS is software as a service, PaaS is platform as a service, and IaaS means infrastructure as a service. So as a business client, as an individual, as an end user point of view, if I say if I want to use cloud, why I want to use cloud services, these are the points. It should be, I can take it anytime, I have to use it anytime, anywhere, with any device. And for the service providers, the persons, the big companies who are providing the services, they will see cloud computing in different manner. They will see that it should be universal access, everybody could access it. Scalable services, scalable in the sense they will rate the service quality as well as the service quantity also to every individual. There have to be new application service model, SaaS. SaaS includes the XAAS includes all three, SaaS, PaaS, and IaaS. New application service models means they are keep on adding new features in the form of SaaS, PaaS, and IaaS. And there should be one more feature called pay as you go. So from a business point of view, if I say I have to give this kind of features to every individual, and from a end user point of view, if I see one person requires this kind of services from cloud computing. As we are using Google Gmail, so what happens if you create a Gmail account, we get 15 GB of space free. Okay, that's one more benefit for us. Who decided this 15 GB? The company decided, the cloud provider decided, the Gmail decided. So the decision to give 15 GB free comes under business-oriented definitions, and it's our own benefit. It's our benefit that we are getting 15 GB of storage on our Google server for free for lifetime. Comes under customer-oriented. I hope it's clear to you all. Now, moving on to cloud computing further, we can say it is a delivery of on-demand computing service over the internet on pay-as-you-go service. It's a simple definition. Okay, like Gmail, Hotmail, Webmail, they can be used remotely also. Though they are stored in the service provider's server, and the features of the servers are very much similar with the physical cloud. That's why they are called cloud servers, cloud computing. But the thing is that the main feature or the definition, you can say it is a delivery of on-demand computing services over the internet on pay-as-you-go. As I said, the user don't have to purchase anything. The user don't have to download anything on their system, whether the system is a laptop, desktop, tablet, or anything. Just need to use those services by the cloud provider. They have to subscribe with a small amount and they are ready to go. Now, why we will be using cloud computing? Why we require cloud computing? Why this feature, this technology gained so much popularity? What is the reason? So the reason what we are doing, we have also separated these reasons according to our need. Means from a user point of view and from the organization or the cloud computing service provider point of view. From a user point of view is that if we want any service, if we want any software to work on, it license us very high. The license is very high to purchase or download. But in cloud computing, what happens? We can rent that particular software for a certain period of time to carry out our work. Okay, so this is one benefit for end user. And the cloud computing is pay for what you use, scale up, pay more, scale down. If I create or purchase my own server, that's going to cost me more. The license cost, the hardware cost, the net cost, the electricity cost, the maintenance cost, things like that. But if we just switch to the cloud server, if we rent somebody else's server featuring cloud features, we can just subscribe those features and we can use according to our need. Means as we store more data, we have to pay more. As the data decreases, the service decreases, we have to pay less. The second reason is that if we use a physical server in our organization, in our home, it requires space. Okay, and we have to update the softwares installed in it, the license, time to time. But if we switch to cloud computing, what will happen? We don't have to require any kind of physical servers, and all the auto updations of softwares, the operating system, the license is being taken care by the cloud service providers. Okay. Now, to maintain, if we have our own physical servers, what I have to do? I have to pay to our employees to maintain those kind of services, to maintain the hardware, the softwares, and lack of visibility. Visibility means that if one organization or a single person requires to scale the service, that is very, very, you can say, hard and tough feature for one who is acquiring his own web servers in their organization or in their day-to-day work. But if we move on to cloud, no experts is required. Means every employee, every person who are doing maintenance for the cloud servers are being carried out by the same service providers company, and high visibility. Okay. Now, if one organization or an individual have their own servers, it cannot be accessible remotely. It can be accessible remotely. That we're gonna learn feature in our future chapters. But the thing is that it cannot be acquired remotely. It's very tough to acquire it remotely. It takes longer implementation time and poor data security. Okay. So if we have our own physical server in our organization, so these are the features lacking if we don't use the cloud computing. Whereas in cloud computing, data can be accessible and shared anywhere over the internet rapidly and anytime, rapid implementation and better data security. So what happens? The thing is that every cloud service provider owns the entire system also. It owns the entire service facilities also, security facilities also, and implementation facilities also, feasibility facilities also. That things, if we as individual or as an organization, if we maintain, it's gonna give us a very high cost. So cut to the cost, if we want to cut the cost, if we want to cut the maintenance, the space requires to have a physical web server in our organization or for our individual business. We can, if we just switch to the cloud computing services, we can just subscribe those kinds of features according to our need, according to our time, according to our pocket. Now, I will be explaining or giving you some examples how cloud computing applications help us in day-to-day life, in our business life, entertainment, data storing, social networking, education, management, and in entertainment, etc. Service providers do provide many apps, many you can say online applications that can be used by us in our day-to-day life to carry out our works. In business also, in entertainment also, in data storage also, in social networking also, in the field of education also, management also. So in business application, what happens? We have MailChimps, we have Chatters, Google Apps for Business. So these are the applications what in the field of business we use in our day-to-day lives. MailChimp is a service provider, is an email service provider by which we can do some email marketing also. And Chatter, it's an application helps sharing important information about organization in real time. Google Apps for Business. We have all heard about Google Apps, the spreadsheet, Google Apps, the Google presentation, the Google documents. All these features are on Google Cloud servers. If you have your Gmail account, you can access this server, these features. QuickBooks is one more application, a cloud application which we can subscribe and we can carry out our work. It provides online accounting solution for a business. It assists in monitoring cash flow, creating tax rate, and creating business reports. So all these things, the software, what I am just showing you for business purposes and in further, cannot be owned by a single person, cannot be downloaded by a single person. It is made for general and to all public to use them whenever they want, wherever they want, on from whatever device they want. Only they have to subscribe those kinds of features, paying a very less cost, and they can carry out their work. In data storage applications, what service provider do? They provide box.com. Box.com is a file transfer system. If we require some file to be transferred, we can upload it to Box and we can just share the link. Moz, M-O-Z-Y, call it Moz. It's written Mozy, but we call it Moz. It's a provider which takes backup files to prevent our data. And Joku, J-O-U-K-W. It's also a data storage application. It is basically interface. It helps us to sync for a single list content to store some data, or you can say in a form of files like a Dropbox. So in a management application, we have Toggle, Evernote, Outreach. It's Outright, but we call it Outreach. So these are the application. What does this application do? We will discuss a little bit quickly. So these are the applications which are being provided by the cloud service provider to us. We have to subscribe these kind of features. So every application belongs to a service provider. Somebody has made it. So the company which has made this application, made it for us, They are not licensing us for lifetime or a year or month. It's upon us how much service for how much time we want these kind of services we want, we can subscribe and just use it. So in management application, we have Toggle, Evernote, Outreach, and in application, art application, we have Evernote, Outreach. In our in our art application, we have MOO. It provides services for designing and uploading the printing and postcards and mini cards. In entertainment applications, we have Audio Box, FM. It provides streaming services for the music online stores. So what I was saying, what I'm just showing you all is just examples of application of what service provider can provide us. In social applications, we have Facebook, Twitter, Mutebreak, Audio Box. This is one more feature. Okay. So what in the first page I have told that cloud computing applications, in business applications, we have few applications. In data storage applications, we have few applications. In management applications, we have few applications. What I'm showing you is just a small example of applications which falls under a particular category. But there are many more applications. And suppose if I have just written over here Toggle, Evernote, and Outreach, but if you go for a cloud application under management, you will get many applications in day-to-day, in every day. More and more applications are being added under a certain category. Okay, in business, in management, in art, in entertainment, in social networking. Now, as we are so much into cloud computing, there are many challenges also. To use those kind of service and from providers to provide those kind of services, they face few challenges. What are there are many challenges, but we will be discussing five. Major fives are, all the challenges comes under these five topics only. As the emerging technology, it has many challenges in various aspects of information handling. We have, first of all, is security, privacy, reliability, availability, interoperability, portability, and computing performance. So these are the five challenges which a service provider has to face in providing a cloud computing service to the users. So first is security. Security in the sense we will be discussing about all the five features in detail. The first is security. There are many challenges in cloud computing. The challenges can reduce by using security application, encrypted files and data loss of it. What happens if I store something? It should be encrypted. It should be not shared by any other provider to any other user. That's one more feature. And this feature from a user end I requires, and from a service provider end they have to provide this feature. Interoperability. It means the application on one platform should be able to incorporate services for the from the other platform. This is known as interoperability. It is being possible through web services. What happens? We can use many cloud services, providers service. Somebody can use it on Mac, somebody can use it on Linux, somebody can use it on Windows, somebody can use it on Debian, somebody can use it on Fedora, and many other services. So if I am using Mac, the services which I am using Mac, the data which I am providing from my side for that particular service, if some other time, if I want to use that service on Windows, it could be possible. So this feature should be provided by the service provider, that whatever will be my platform, whatever will be my environment, my carrying out my work, my day-to-day work should be similar and should not be interrupted. due to the different kind of operating environment. That is called interoperability, portability. Okay, in portability, the applications run on one cloud platform can run to new cloud platform, and it should be open correctly, operate correctly. Suppose what happens if I'm using Google services. I have you, for example, I'm just saying, I'm using Google services, a particular service from Google up to a certain time for a month or 2 months, for a couple of months. If I want the same service by some other service provider, I don't have to pay extra, though I have subscribed with the first service provider, and I want to just change the service provider, not changing my entire work or the process, the application which I'm using. This is called portability. Means the changing of service provider should be there, but the work, the system, the kind of work which I'm carrying out on an old service provider should not change on the second service provider. Okay, I will give you a small example. You can change the service provider of your phone number also without changing your phone number. Yeah, this portability is the same thing. By changing the service provider, by not changing your subscription-based services, subscription-based application, carry out your work. The fifth is service quality. Obviously, service level agreement. If I know that one service provider is not a very good service provider and my data is not secure, why will I use those kind of services on a cloud from a cloud service provider? So whenever we subscribe for any services, we get a SLA, service level agreement, which ensure us that our entire data is secured, encrypted, and it could not be shared with any person. The service level agreement of a provider are not enough to guarantee the availability and scalability. The business declined to switch to cloud without a strong service quality guarantee. As I said, the same thing. Now, computing performance. High internet bandwidth is needed for data intervention applications on cloud. This results in high cost. In cloud computing, low band does not meet the desired computing performance. What I mean to say is that if I'm using, for example, if I'm using Google services, though I have the high internet speed, but the services from Google, I can access the software, I can access the services from Google. That's very slow. So why will I go to Google? If I have, in one hand, if I have Mutebreak as a service, and even if I have a low bandwidth or a low internet speed, the service for Mutebreak is very good. The similar, it's meet up my entire desire. So I will go to the Mutebreak services. In the same way, this is called computing performance, for the field of performance. Reliability and availability. Most of the business are dependent on services provided by third party. Hence, it is mandatory for the cloud system to be reliable and reimbursed. Means that, say, many businesses are using cloud services and they are using third-party tools also. In reliability and availability means it should be accessible from anywhere. My work should not stop, even if I change the place, even if I change the system, even if I change the service provider. So, as I said, there are 5 challenges from a business point of view, from a cloud server provider kind of point of view, and from our point of view. The security feature, the reliability and availability, the interoperability, the portability, and the computing performance. Now, the basic concept of computer architecture. There are certain services and models working behind the scene, making the cloud computing visible and accessible to end users. Now what we are doing, we are just discussing about the architecture. Okay. Let me give you an example. When we go to see a movie, what we see? We see the finished product. We are completely unaware of the hard work. We are completely unaware of the timing. We are completely unaware of the budget. The amount has been spent, the hard work, the hardship has been spent to make that 1.5 hour movie. We just enjoy the 1.5 hour movie and we come back home thinking about it. But we don't think about the back end of the movie. The movie which we see of 1 hour, 1.5 an hour, 2 hour or 3 hours is not been made in 1 or 2 hours. They are time is much more than the hour 1 and 2 or 3. A movie has been made in 3 or 4 months, in the period of 3 to 4 months. The period of 3 to 4 months, and we see the entire finished product. We see 1.5 hour and 2 hours. So here is the same thing is applied over here also. The architecture of the cloud computing is been divided into 2 systems: deployment model and service model. What I'm saying is the backend. How the cloud computing architecture works. We work on 2 principles. The first is deployment model and the second is service model. Let us discuss more. Okay, the deployment model falls on 4 features. Okay, it defines the type of access of the cloud, how the cloud is located. Cloud can be any of the 4 types of access. Means, in a simple manner, if we say the type of cloud services what we access. Okay, in a deployment model, we have 4 kinds of clouds: public clouds, private clouds, hybrid, and community. So we're going to discuss in detail. So here is the definition of the public cloud. It will allow system and service to be easily accessible to general public like Google, Amazon, Microsoft services by internet and public. Google, Amazon, Microsoft, Mutebreak offers services to general public. Means they have created a certain sector, certain segment of their cloud servers which can be accessible to every person, every individual for free. They don't have to pay anything. They can use it anytime they want. They can use it anywhere they want. For how long they want, it's up to them. Only they have to use the internet and use our cloud service. This all comes under public cloud. Now, going further, the public cloud is divided into 5 different topics like cloud effective, reliability, flexibility, location independence, utility service casting, and high scalability. These are the benefits of public clouds. Cloud effective means the sharing of the same data to every individual is the same. So the cost could be reduced to very much less. Reliability, we have flexibility also. Public cloud integrate all private cloud also. Means we can access we can jump from one public cloud to another public cloud also to access our service. Location independent, provide through internet. Means if we have internet, we can use that particular public cloud from anywhere, at any time. Only things we have to use our internet and our digital device. Utility style costing means if we want to use any public cloud for further use of us, there could be a very minimum charges which could be applicable to the end user, by which they can use more and more services from a cloud, and high scalability. So these are the benefits. These are the 6 benefits if we use public cloud servers. There are also disadvantages of public cloud service. The two disadvantages are, first of all, is low security and less customizable. Means if somebody, just I will give you an example of Microsoft Word. Though it's a licensed service, but I'm using in this context because if you don't like any feature in Microsoft Word, if you want some extra feature in Microsoft Word, the company Microsoft is not gonna edit or modify that particular product for you. So less customizable means the every services which is meant or uploaded on a public cloud server cannot be customizable, though it has been made general and through every person to use. And low security. Low security in the sense everything is on public cloud. Anybody can access our data or they cannot access our data, is dependent upon the service provider. So low security feature is also there in using public cloud server. Now we'll move on to private cloud server. What are the private cloud servers? The big organizations own these private servers. Okay, the data, the amount of data which should not be accessible to end user or anonymous person, unknown person, all those kinds of data is being stored in private servers. Who own these private servers? Big companies own these private servers, private servers. Suppose if I use, if we all know, we all are using Gmail accounts. We can access our internet, we can send in emails, we can receive emails through internet, through our Gmail account. But if we want to know the details of the employee of the Google, is it possible? No, because the particular feature, the Gmail feature is being used on a public cloud, though the informations of the Google employees, the Google projects are being stored on a private cloud server. Though they can be accessible, but on a proper authentication or on a proper channel, they can access those data. So if you go to definition, it allows system and services to be accessible within an organization. As I said, it can be managed internally by organization itself or by third party. If we are a small organization, we can use the third party to rent the servers for our information also. If we move further, you can see the diagram over here is written the application, the levels of the organizations and the private cloud servers. Benefits of private server: it's high security and privacy, more control, cost and energy efficiency. Means if we are using some data, if we want our data not to be disclosed, not to be leaked from our cloud system, from our cloud servers, we have to provide high security and privacy. We have the more control on private cloud servers also, and it's also cloud cost and energy efficiency. There are also disadvantages of private cloud servers also. Restricted area of operations, high price and limited scalability. Means not everybody can use our the data from our private cloud, so it's restricted. It's high price, though they have to maintain their security features, though they have to maintain the updation features regularly. They have to employ to take care of the private cloud. They have to pay high price and limited scalability. Means up to a certain limit of public domain. Now we will move to hybrid clouds. What are hybrid cloud systems? Hybrid cloud servers. So hybrid cloud servers possess both the features of private clouds and public clouds. Means if I'll give you an example of a portal, let's go for Mutebreak also. The content which every person upload on a platform, mutebreak.com, can be accessible and see and view and read by every individual. So that particular part has been stored. That particular part has been made in such a way that it can be accessible to every person. So you can say the part of cloud, what we are using on that part of Mutebreak is made in a public domain, made in a public server. So which a complete web cloud server having both the features of private cloud features also and public cloud features also. Whereas in private, the reporters, the gazettes, the details of them are not being shared with every individual. So they are stored in a private cloud. But if you see in a whole scenario, it's a one cloud possessing both the features, private as well as public. So these are called hybrid cloud. It is a mixture of public and private cloud. Non-critical activities and performed using public cloud. Critical activities are performed using private clouds. Now, benefits of hybrid cloud is scalability, flexibility, cost efficiency, and security as well. So if you see in a very deep manner, scalability, public plus private scalability, the hybrid cloud possesses features of public cloud also and private cloud also, so it can be scalable. Flexibility, offer secure resources plus scalable public resources. Cost efficiency, hybrid clouds can be cost saving, means if I am using something which can be shared publicly also and can be used, the same feature can be used privately also, so it could be cost efficiency. Security, private cloud ensure high security as well as the public cloud can be used under the high security region also, as it's only one cloud acting both public and private. So there are also few disadvantages of hybrid cloud servers also. Network issues, security compliances, infrastructure dependency. So as the cloud computers, the cloud servers, the cloud system possessing both the features of public cloud also, the features of private cloud also. So there could be, or there has to be a network issue. Means private clients, public clients, all are engaging, all are falling on the same cloud. So network issue should be there itself. And security, there might be a security compliance because all the things is acting on the same time, private and public also. Infrastructure dependency. If I'm using one cloud computer, if I'm using one cloud for every infrastructure, for every OS, so there should be a dependency also. Now there is a term in cloud computing is called parallel computing. What is a parallel computing? If we go for a simple definition, it just says it is a form of computing in which many calculations has been carried out simultaneously. Means side by side, equally side. Okay, parallel computing is equally side. So if we go further on parallel computing, there are 4 points to be run using multiple CPUs. Means every cloud computer, every cloud system have a multiple which are having parallel computing should have a multiple CPUs, the ICs, the CPUs. A problem is broken into discrete parts that can be solved concurrently. Means what does the parallel computing do? Parallel computing is a part of cloud computing. How cloud computing carry out their work, that what is I'm discussing in this chapter. What happened is that the cloud computers, the cloud computing have multiple CPUs to carry out the work. How do they carry out their work? They divide the works into sectors and in concrete manner. how I'm going to show you in our next page, the diagrammatic form. Each part is further broken down into service, and each part executes simultaneously on a different CPU. So this is the diagram. You can see it over here on upright corner. It's a problem. It is divided into further horizontal manner in a brick formation, in a 4-brick formation, and every brick is been further divided into smaller bricks, and these are the instructions is been carried out by one CPU. The second brick is divided into further small instructions and is been carried out by different CPU. In the same manner, the entire problem, the problem over here is the request. What we want, what the user wants from a cloud. Those things are being carried out in this form. The instructions have been divided into several few or the horizontal concreto manner. Every concreto level has been further divided into instructions that has been carried out by the CPU. If we use one CPU to carry out entire work, the cloud computing will fail. Fail in the sense, the kind of requirement, the kind of speed, the kind of service we require will not be possible. That's why a cloud computing system uses many CPUs. To break down every single instruction into further in a concreto manner and divided every brick into several instructions and carried out by a single CPU. In this way, let me give you an example. If I have to carry out some work by one person can do a work in 1 hour. If I employ 2 persons, the same amount of work can be carried out in half an hour. If I employ 4 persons, the same amount of work can be carried out in 15 minutes. So this is the feature which is requires in cloud computing. Main reason: save times and money, solve large problem, provide accuracy, and non-local resources. Use non-local resources. It can also it can use execution in multiple times in a pipeline instruction manner, in a multi-core manner. So these are the main features of the parallel computing. Now we have done till parallel computing. We will be discussing more. There are more chapters, there are more features. What is cloud? What is cloud and how it has been used? Why it has been used? So I want you all guys, we all have discussed till here. Anybody has a question? Anybody has a question from your end? Because we will be discussing more about tomorrow also. Though the video link will be shared to you all guys. For the day one, it is not possible for me to cover an entire syllabus of the 2-day session in one. So I'm just going in a very easy form, in a very elaboration form, so that you can guys get understood every small aspect, every small topics of cloud computing also. So any questions from you all guys regarding the architecture also, types of clouds also, benefits of cloud, disadvantages of clouds, features of clouds, examples of clouds, types of clouds, about parallel computing also, about the apps, the application of used in clouds also. Anybody can raise a question? So I will be discussing more and more features of cloud in our tomorrow session. So as nobody has any questions, it's okay. Okay, then I will do one thing. I will be ending this session of cloud computing, the session for day 1. I will be continuing after the parallel computing tomorrow. And if you have some questions tomorrow also about this session, you can just go ahead and ask me. Thank you, guys.